Hello, good afternoon, Professor Blash, GMC classmates, anyone else who happens to be watching this video. My name is Josh McBride, and I'd like to start off by thanking you for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope you enjoy it. I've certainly enjoyed watching your videos and getting to know you more as well as this class goes on. If you watched my video from last week, you might recall how I described the passion that we firefighters have for our job, and I even briefly mentioned the adrenaline rush that we get when we're riding in the back of the fire truck heading to an emergency scene. It's really something that's hard to explain, but anybody who's been in the military or anything like that, they might understand what I'm talking about. But today, I'm going to inform you of how critical it is in our profession to have a fully functional, operational fire truck. And I'm going to describe some of the features that the truck has as well. So that way you'll have a little more of an understanding about it as the speech goes on. In the fire service, this type of truck that's behind me here is commonly referred to as a fire engine, or sometimes it's referred to as a pumper. And besides the men that is carried on this truck, it's probably the most valuable and important asset or tool that the fire department has as far as mitigating emergencies, as well as motor vehicle accidents, medical situations, or fires as well. I'm sure all of you know that the truck, carries us to emergencies and to the scene of the fire, but it also has a much larger role than that too. One thing the truck does is it houses all the tools we need to manage an emergency scene, to help us control the situation, to save someone's life, or even to save each other's lives if that situation ever were to come into play. This truck has a whole bunch of different tools on it, and to name a few of them, we have axes, sledgehammers, extrication equipment. We have a tool called the Jaws of Life, which can just totally take apart a car in a couple minutes. We can use that and take the roof off a car in just a matter of seconds and get a patient out if we need to. It also has a bunch of other things like air packs, which we use to breathe when we're inside the fire, and flashlights too are just a few of those things. Now, all the tools on this truck have a very specific spot which they have to be in, which allows for ease of access when we go to get the tools, and that way we always know where they are, and there's no second guessing. When we come to an emergency scene, there's not a lot of time to try and figure out where something's at. We can't wonder where an axe is at, or where a hammer's at, or where one of the cutting tools is at. We have to be able to get to that tool immediately and access it and deploy it to the emergency scene so we can use it to help somebody. Another thing that this does is when we have different shifts, the next shift that comes on, their tools will always be in the same place as well. And any other fire truck that we have in our service, all their tools are the same. So no matter what truck that you're riding on, you're always going to know where all the tools at. And these tools, they're checked off every single day by the driver of the truck to make sure that they're fully functional and operational. A tool is not going to be any good to us if we can't use it. Now, the brand or name of this truck is called a Pierce Quantum, and one cool thing about this truck, which a lot of other trucks have as well, is that this truck carries a 500-gallon water tank on it. Now, obviously, you know why water is very important to us as firefighters. It's what we use to put out the fire, but also it's what we can use to save our own lives if we're ever caught up in a bad situation. And we use that 500-gallon tank to go in and put the fire out, but it goes through that water pretty quick. When we're spraying 200 gallons a minute, we basically have 2.5 minutes before we're out, and so then we have someone connect to the hydrant. This is just a few of the things that our fire truck does and carries, and I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe learned something from it.